He is quite peaceful, except when he's crying at night, but he's still really peaceful. This entire journey starts with your mind. I have to communicate it no matter how frustrated I am. I have to communicate it because sometimes we assume that they're going to read our minds. You're not married to a mind reader. Newsflash. Hey guys, it's been a while, but I feel like I owe you an update. So this is a postpartum update. I'm going to share everything that has been happening. It's been 3 weeks since we had our son. I think by the time this video goes up, I will have already shared on Instagram when he was born, his name and all that. So this is just a postpartum update. So we gave birth on 23rd September. If you watched my previous video, the vlog, then you know that I was in labor on 22nd. We checked into hospital at about midnight. So 23rd is when it happened. I will share a little of what my body is like, what breastfeeding is like in this season, because I'm breastfeeding our daughter, Hanela, who is 18 months, and our son, who is now 3 weeks old. First, let's go with postpartum. I will not share the details of how labor and delivery was. That will be a separate video because it deserves the honor of a video of its own. So after we delivered, I stayed in hospital for a day, after which we went to my parents' house and were there for 2 weeks. So I feel like this time healing was a little slower than it was with my second, but it was also faster than it was with my first son. So it was not too hectic. Like really, 3 days after hospital, we were moving, we were out of the house and visiting some friends, and I thank God for that. And also being away from my house, knowing that I'm not in charge of running the home, being told we need to buy this or this is done, was a relief on my mind, knowing that someone else has got that covered. And also having my entire family there with me, because we all moved. The kids, my husband, the nannies, we all moved to my parents' house. We're there for 2 weeks. It was nice to be pampered and just have all that. Like, we're not thinking about bills and what needs doing. For me, it helped a lot. And also having people there to carry the baby, especially at night. I feed, you burp. It felt good. Those are some of the things that I have done in these first weeks. So currently we are at our parents on my husband's side. And also being pampered here. Honestly, I love it. Yes, I miss my home, but I could not trade this for anything. And one of the main reasons why we choose to go to our parents' houses is to allow them the opportunity to also bond with their grandchildren, especially in these first weeks. Yeah, so they've bapped the our little boy. They bapped Liran. He's Liran. Go follow me on Instagram so you can keep getting these updates quickly. They burp him, they change his diapers, they shower him, they freshen him up, and it creates a bond. And also with the older children, Eliam and Hanela, they're able to play. Hanela has a weird way that she calls her grandpa. She says grandpa, papa, and it's so cute. So just allowing them that opportunity has been amazing. I feel like this has made my postpartum journey easier. I don't think it would have been as easy if I was at my house. Like, it's just us. I feel like it would put a lot of pressure on myself and on my husband. Yeah. Then breastfeeding. I'll also do a separate video on breastfeeding and give you all the details. But so far, it's been amazing. As soon as our son was born, he was put on my chest, which is great for bonding and also for your body and the hormones. It just communicates and allows for your body to prepare for breastfeeding. And my breast milk came immediately because I was already breastfeeding my daughter. So we continued to breastfeed. and I feel like my boobs fill up faster. I guess because I'm breastfeeding too. So the way breastfeeding works is demand and supply. So because I'm breastfeeding too, keeps coming. So my boobs fill up faster. I'm not yet pumping, but I'm going to start pumping once I go to my house, which should be in the next week or so. So they fill up quite fast. Thank God I have my toddler, Hanela, and she helps relieve my breasts. What else should I share about the postpartum journey? I feel like if Mark and I had not taken that time to bond and connect as a couple while we were pregnant, I feel like it would have been so difficult, this postpartum period. I feel like it would have been so difficult because postpartum the hormones, you guys, my body has been taken over. The hormones, I find that it is so easy for me to cry, really, even during pregnancy, but now I feel like it's a lot more. And because you're exhausted, because in these first weeks the baby has that day and night confusion, so there's a certain point in the night where he's awake and crying and you're tired. So it is extremely exhausting. And I feel like if my husband and I had not taken that time to bond and like fill those love tanks, by now the love tanks would have been depleted, would be running on complete zero and empty, and I feel like that would have put a strain on our marriage. So if there's anything that I would advise any couple, is to take the time to bond, especially pre-conception and even during pregnancy. Take the time to bond and fill your love tanks, whatever way that's possible. Do it, so that during the postpartum period, where it's a little difficult because your hands are full, your schedules are full, where it's a little difficult for you to do that, your tanks are not empty, you're not running on empty, because that can put a serious strain on any relationship. So I find that it's easy for me to get frustrated, it's easy for me to get irritated, and when I'm taking the time to do that, I feel like it would have really destabilized us this postpartum period. Another thing that is helping is communicating. So when I feel like I need help, I'm exhausted, or he has done something that has rubbed me the wrong way, I have to communicate it. No matter how frustrated I am, I have to communicate it, because sometimes we assume that they're going to read our minds. You're not married to a mind reader, newsflash, and you have to communicate and tell them how you're feeling, what they have done has made you feel, because we have to acknowledge the fact that we're two different individuals. We think differently, we have different expectations, and if you don't communicate them, they're not going to be met. So I've communicated that. I've cried a lot this season. Like while you're there at 3 a.m. bumping the baby, like, oh my God, I need to be sleeping. I have a headache. My back is hurting. I remember in the first week postpartum, my feet got swollen because I was sitting most of the time. I was sitting upright, so I guess the blood just went, I don't know, but my feet were swollen. My back was aching, like my shoulders, my hands. So another perk of being at my parents' house, my mom did that hot water massage, like with a cloth, a hot cloth, and just felt so good. Then my postpartum body, 3 babies later. I love it. I feel this pregnancy I got stretch marks, which I didn't get with the first 2, but I've chosen to look at my stretch marks as a beautiful reminder of this journey, and I'm not feeling bad about them. I'm honestly enjoying my body. It's just the comments of, I remember when I first got home, one of my nannies said, "Auntie, why don't you tie the stomach?" I was like, no child, we don't tie the stomach now. So I told her, no, I'm not going to tie it yet. And after our 1-week review, the doctor checked my uterus. It's like, it has contracted back properly. You can now start supporting your tummy. And that's when I started to wear the tummy belt. Although I feel, usually during pregnancy, I learned with my second pregnancy, was to tuck in your stomach, like strengthen those ab muscles. And I did that a lot with my second. With the third, I would remember and do it, but I didn't do it as consistently. So the stomach went back faster after my second pregnancy than it has the third. But I don't mind. It's just been 3 weeks. I know that it's going to go back. So I'm trying not to put myself on any pressure to start working out, to whatever. I know that the body is going to go back. Then right now I'm in that headspace where I was telling my husband, when we're walking to the labor ward this time, I really felt that this was the last. Like I felt like that was a final journey for me to walk to the labor ward. It was So right now I'm in that space where I feel like it's the final journey. My husband may not agree, but for me right now, I feel like, yeah, we're complete, a family of 5. This is it. And he's such a sweet baby. He is quite peaceful, except when he's crying at night, but he's still really peaceful. He'll just feed, burp, lay down, sleep. He's such a sweet baby. So I'm trying to live in the moment for each of these moments, the hard ones, the good ones. I'm trying to soak it in and savor that moment in case this one ends up being the final. It's a final for me right now in my head. We just need to get onto the same page with my husband. And then he's behind the camera. So, and then let me see what else I need to update you on. How his siblings received him. Guys, his siblings dote over him. Eliam and Hanela love Liran so much. From day one, they came to the car. I'll see if we can put some clips either here or on Instagram, on my Instagram stories. They were doting over him. Is this my brother? Especially Liam. Is this my brother? What's his name? Just know he is the happiest big brother ever. He dotes over him. I feel like we have to protect Liran from them. They're always kissing him, touching him. When you touch his eyes, when he's crying, they're there. Sorry. When you're changing a diaper, they're there. It's so sweet. It's so sweet to see their bond. I know they're going to be amazing 3 musketeers. Should I call them that? But they're going to be amazing together. They've received him so well. They dote over him, and it really warms our hearts. I'm so glad that has been great, because Eliam did not receive Hanila as well in the first 2 weeks. He struggled. I feel like it's because he was the only child. It was just Mark and I and him, so he struggled with the sharing. But now that they've been 2 for 18 months, I feel like the sharing, they learned that they can share us, and it's okay. So yeah, that has been fantastic. I'm glad that we don't have to deal with any tantrums in that regard. I also want to just remind you, if you're a mom, if you're preparing to be a mom, I have to remind you that this entire journey starts with your mind, the place in which your mind is at. You have to set your mind in a positive direction. You know that I'm going in here, I'm going into this labor ward, I'm starting this pregnancy journey, and I'm coming out alive with a live baby, with a child. And even the postpartum journey, knowing that, you know that it's hard. Like right now, it's difficult, but I have my baby. This baby is not going to be 1 day old forever. The next day, they're 2 days old. The next week, they're 2 weeks. Like, you know that your child is going to grow. This phase is not going to last. And if you get to a point where you are really struggling with your mental health and you feel like you cannot cope on your own, there are doctors that can help you. We have close family people that have struggled with postpartum mental illness after giving birth. And I feel like I have to say that it's important for you to really know where your mind is at and seek help. It's important for you not to fear. Don't allow fear and all these narratives that are peddled everywhere, that you have to have morning sickness. Some people don't get it. Whatever negative things that are around pregnancy and postpartum and what, if you set your mind to it, and it's possible for you to pray about these things, there's a certain strength that God gives you during pregnancy. There's a certain strength that God gives you during postpartum, even during labor and delivery. Guys, if you look at people giving birth, it can be so scary, but you find yourself in that position and you're seeing a strength that you did not even know that you had, and it can only be divine. This entire giving birth, from conception, the entire process, conceiving and giving birth and postpartum breastfeeding, is a complete miracle. It is something that we cannot do without God. It is a divine thing. Like, I saw my labor and delivery videos, I'm just like, how was that me? Like, this time, yes, I screamed at the end, but before that I was not screaming. I was just breathing through it. It was difficult, but there's a certain strength that God gives you, that God has given us, that is just divine. So set your mind to it. You can do it. Don't fear. And even if you get pregnant and get morning sickness, it's going to pass. That season will pass. So set your mind to not fear. Don't give in to fear, because once fear sets in, your body starts to do contrary to what it should. So I just wanted to answer how adjusting from 2 to 3 has been. I completely feel like we're outnumbered. There are only 2 sets of hands in this relationship. So at some point, there's a child who is not going to be carried. At some point, you have to sit on the floor and handle 2. But we're outnumbered, but our hearts have also grown. There's a capacity that I did not think our hearts could reach. Yeah, so I think that's about it about my postpartum update. I'll be sharing videos. We'll share a video. I want Mark to also do a sit down and share his postpartum journey as a man, because I feel like it's talked about a lot for us as women, but the men don't have the platform to also share how it's like for them, seeing your wife healing, going through the tantrums that your wife might throw, even the emotions that your wife goes through. So I want him to also do a sit down. Maybe he'll do it next week. A sit down and just share how postpartum is for him. And the fact that we carry the babies, we're the ones that breastfeed them. So we have many opportunities to bond with the kids, but the husband's not as much. So are you going to take over showering so that you can bond with the baby? Are you going to take over burping so you can bond with the baby? These are hints to you, babe. Yeah, so I want him to sit down and share his postpartum journey as a man, as a husband, from their perspective. Then I will share in a separate video breastfeeding, because I don't want them to just get lost in one video. So I'll share my breastfeeding journey, how I'm managing to tandem feed. I will also share a video of the products that have helped me postpartum, the things that I am using that are helping me, hair shedding, the maternity belt that I'm using for my tummy, the products that I used. I mentioned in the previous vlog, that this time I used adult diapers, and they are a lifesaver, game changer. Usually the hospital gives you these locally made maternity pads with gauze and cotton, which are quite bulky and very hard to sit with, especially if you've gotten stitches. And this time I used adult diapers, and they were a game changer. I wish I had known about them with my first baby. They were a game changer. So I used the brand Giggles. You can watch the previous video and you'll see them. And then after the heavy bleeding was done, I used normal sanitary towels, which were, the brand I used was Shuya. Yeah. What else didn't I say that I used? I think that's about it. The rest I will share in the labor and delivery vlog, and I'm going to have another video where I share my breastfeeding journey, and we'll also have a video where Mark shares his postpartum journey. So if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe, you like, you share this video with anyone that's going through this postpartum journey or is about to. And yeah, that's about it. Bye.